Well, welcome to our Sunday night Global Business Owner Business Call. We are so excited about the call this evening, and I want to thank each one of you for taking the time out of your evening and encourage you to take great notes and walk away with some nuggets as we go through the call this evening. Those of you that are brand new, maybe you're looking to see what is this Global Rescue Direct, what are they doing, what is Total Care, you're in great hands this evening. My name is Denise Stevens, as I said, and I'm located right at smack dab in the middle of the Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas area, and I can't tell you how excited I am this evening, and I want to welcome each of you for joining in on this call. I think you're going to find the nature of this call to be very, very profound and perhaps delivered what I call oftentimes just-in-time delivery for a better 2017. It does not take a rocket scientist for us to look around and see people that are struggling. I'm personally getting daily emails from healthcare.gov reminding me to enroll, and all of the fear-mongering that is centered around people that absolutely have no idea what to do and how to solve this healthcare issue. And I've never been more confident and know that the solution that we have and what we're going to be able to deliver to the world is literally unparalleled in the industry. Okay, on tonight's call, we are blessed to have Global Rescue Direct President, Mr. Doug Robinson, on the line with us, and he's going to speak, I think, to each of you. I can't even express the amount of time the man has invested in me personally, helping to grow me and show me and educate me since finding Global Rescue Direct in June. Okay, it was a wake-up call for me personally, and it was appalling to realize that I was going to have something that is literally accessible to, or give me the accessibility to very high-quality health care outside of the insurance pricing, outside of it, where I could make my own decisions by working right from the palm of my hand, tapping an app, getting in touch with real live, very high quality physicians, and at a price that was incredibly affordable. Perhaps your reason for being on our call this evening is maybe you're one of the millions of people that are somewhat frustrated. You're frustrated with the rising cost of health care. You're watching the quality of that health care diminish, and yet it doesn't diminish in price, okay? Some people, in fact, I spoke with a lady just yesterday that was facing the difficult choice of even having health care coverage. And her words to me ring in my ears today. She said, Denise, I had considered going back, going part-time with my job because I couldn't get the help. I could not afford the care. And if I went part-time on my job, then I would qualify for help. And I said, or you can change your mindset and you can get out here and help us take this solution to the world. That's what we're trying to do, okay? But I wanted her to know, like I'm telling you, you're not alone, all right? It's not just our monthly costs that are out of control. Our deductibles combined with that monthly high payment are so high that a simple trip to the doctor's office means that sometimes you have to come up with the money for each visit over and over again, get your prescriptions and so forth. And so basically, until you meet those extraordinarily high deductibles, you're self-insuring yourself. That was a statement that was said to me by Doug Robinson, our president. I think the day that he said that to me was an epiphany for me, okay? How many times have you gone to the doctor just to find out what you needed in terms of a prescription? You knew what your problem was. You just needed somebody to give you that antibiotic or to help solve that problem quickly, okay? Today, more than any other time in our history, so many people are searching for a way to cut into those costs without reducing the quality and the level of the care that they're getting, okay? That's where Global Rescue Direct is very, very powerful. So just to give you a little bit of background before I turn it over to Doug, Global Rescue Direct offers quality health care coverage, 24-hour access to very high-quality medical professionals, like I said earlier, at a very affordable monthly rate. Some of our plans are monthly. Some of them are all-inclusive on a yearly basis. Working with the GBO that invited you on the phone this evening, they're going to help you figure out what is in your best interest and works best for you. because at Global Rescue Direct, it's what's in it for you. Global Rescue Direct is not new. Global Rescue has been in business since 2004. Their reach is on a global scale. Now, I love to say this when I'm talking to people. You have to understand that Global Rescue has been providing a virtual healthcare solution globally in every country except the United States of America until August the 23rd, 2016. You might be asking yourself, why America? Great question. I don't think it's going to be any surprise to you because of bureaucracy and regulatory issues. But all of that has been knocked out. So now America has access to the hundreds of medical professionals that Global Rescue has been working on their team, and has over 200 medical centers of excellence worldwide. That's what excited me, is now finally in America the bureaucratic layers have been knocked out and we can tap into that solution right in the palm of our hand. Some of these world-class partners are the likes of Johns Hopkins, Elite Medical Group, and Partners Healthcare. And I want you to keep in mind, guys, we have over 1 million members. That's right. That is people like you and people like me. I just think that speaks volumes because we're not new. So now, I've talked about him many times. I am at the point where I want to turn it over to him, and I want you guys to be able to leverage off of his knowledge. Mr. Doug Robinson brings to the table 25 years. I'm trying to figure out how to quantify what I'm going to say here, because he has dealt in the belly of the beast, and I want to put that in perspective. I've only been dealing with it for 5 months, and I think if I didn't know myself better, I would have to be a mild alcoholic to deal with this. What this man has done to gather the knowledge and have that level of experience and bring it to us without us having to live in the nightmare that it must have been is just simply priceless. So, Doug, you've been so unselfish with me. You've spent hours teaching and training me and mentoring those of us that are global business owners, and I want to turn the phone call over to you and thank you immensely for the time that you're spending with us. So, guys, I'm going to turn it over to you, Doug. Mr. Doug Robinson, Global Rescue Direct President. Take it away, Doug.
Thanks, Denise, and welcome, everyone. Adrian, I'm calling in from Park City, Utah, just up the road from you in Heber, and given that this is Sunday evening, I've got a very big smile on my face for all kinds of reasons, not the least of which we had an awful lot of snow this weekend, which made for incredible skiing over the weekend, and even though I'm traveling to Los Angeles tomorrow on business, I know I'm going to be sore just because of how hard I went at it, but it's a good sore. Denise, thank you very much for that kind introduction, and you know, it makes me incredibly happy anytime I with you as GBOs. Incredibly happy to be on the call tonight. And, you know, at this time of year, hopefully everyone had a great Thanksgiving, and now we're staring Christmas and New Year's straight in the face, and it's really the end of the year. It's a time that I typically reflect back on the year, both personally and professionally, and what a year we've had. Denise mentioned a number of things, not the least of which she threw out a date of August 23rd. That was a significant date for Global Rescue and Global Rescue Direct, in that we launched after probably close to a year and a half worth of work, preparatory work, to get our value proposition around total care and all of the inner workings of our company, Global Rescue Direct, in order, so that we could bring forth a value proposition that I think, and Denise has certainly expressed as much, is second to none, but it's also a value proposition that's so needed and so right for the timing right now, not just because of the Affordable Care Act, my favorite term, because the Affordable Care Act, which is often called Obamacare, is actually crumbling in front of us. The exchanges that have been on board for the last 2, 3, 4 years around the Affordable Care Act, many of them are peeling away because it's simply unaffordable and unsustainable. And the people that have been harmed through the Affordable Care Act and the government trying to take over, for all intents and purposes, our private healthcare system and regulate it in extreme ways that have never been done before in our country. Arguably the best healthcare system in the world, but still the government was intruding with its regulatory overreach. And what we have is really a debacle around us. And the people that have been harmed, not just over these last few years, but really I would suggest over the last 20 or 30 years, precipitously, are us, people, individuals, consumers, the end users of our healthcare system. And as complex and big as our healthcare system is, really it can be broken down into, in my opinion, three overarching areas where we've been harmed and we're being harmed. And that is, and Denise frankly mentioned all three of these, but access to the system. Once we're in the system, the quality of care that we receive, and then ultimately the cost of the care that we receive. Those three things, those three aspects, access, quality, and cost, are really where we have been as citizens, as consumers, as end users of our healthcare system, harmed over these last 2 or 3 decades, and it's getting worse and worse and worse as the cost shift has been on in unprecedented ways. Well, our total care value proposition through Global Rescue and Global Rescue Direct really addresses all three of those things. It provides immediate access to incredibly high-quality consultative care through our smartphones. Through a tap of a button, we can be connected with world-class medical professionals, EMTs, paramedics, nurse practitioners, and physicians on a myriad of things that might be on our minds at that point in time. It's 24/7, 365 access. So the quality of the care that we receive, again, all of you on this call tonight, you all have instances and occurrences that you can think up in even recent months where you've, sat for long periods of time in doctor's offices or ERs or urgent care centers, and you're probably shaking your heads around the quality of the care that you received really wasn't up to the standards that you would define as high quality of care. We've taken that notion, that high quality care, and we've baked it into our total care services such that our follow-through by our nurse practitioners, our physicians, our EMTs, and paramedics, in my opinion, is second to none. We're not going to give up on a matter until we believe it's fully put to rest. And then ultimately the cost of the care that people have been receiving over these, 2 or 3 past decades has been getting higher and higher to the point where it's unacceptable and importantly unsustainable. The cost of our care is really very, very affordable, and our total care services are really a cost avoidance play, because when you touch the app and connect with our medical professionals and get the care and the consultative service that you were looking for, ultimately, in many instances, not all instances, but many instances, you'll never have to present yourself physically at an emergency room, urgent care center, or your doctor's office. Much of the care can be handled virtually, and that's really at the heart of our value proposition. So, again, in reflecting back on the year, we've had an incredible year. We launched just a couple of months ago. We've got a tremendous number of global business owners, GBOs in our vernacular, and now members. And, at this point in the year, when I look back on all that we've accomplished in 2016, I'm smiling, not just because of all the great snow that we have here in Utah and the great skiing over the weekend, but I'm smiling because we've set ourselves up for huge success going forward. And also at this time of the year, when I look back, I also look forward, because we're really on the verge of 2017, and we kind of, for me, again, personally and professionally, I think forward into the goals and objectives that I want to accomplish and we want to accomplish for the coming year. And I couldn't be more pleased with the positioning that we put ourselves in for huge success going forward. The value proposition around Global Rescue Direct, and our total care services are really second to none. So it's an exciting time of the year. Denise, I thank you for your leadership and all the other GBOs that are on these calls, for your leadership. and really for what's in front of us. So I couldn't be more excited. Thank you again for having me on the call tonight. And, December 25th and January 1st, two of the big holidays that are coming up, are both Sunday evenings. So we're not going to have a live call either of those nights, but we're gonna have some pre-recorded calls that will be on. But next Sunday night, the 18th, we will have one more live call. So I hope to be on that call as well, and I'll turn it back over to you, Denise. Thanks very much.
Oh, Doug, you know what? No, thank you on behalf of all of the wonderful GBOs that are on this call this evening. Your knowledge is priceless. It takes many years. I think we all know that it's called intellectual capital. And I quite frankly feel very, very fortunate to be able to leverage off of somebody that possesses such a depth of that capital and doesn't charge me a dime for it. Before you jump off the phone, Doug, I do have a couple of questions. Do you have a problem with taking a couple of questions from us?
Not at all. Love to.
Great. Well, one of the things I think as GBOs we are commonly asked is, aren't these telemedicine companies kind of like the same? We see a lot of the insurance plans today are embedding them in insurance plans, and you explained this to me so well that, Doug, I feel like I could get on top of a mountain and take on anybody climbing up to be King Kong of the mountain. And I just think that knowledge to people, once they really grasp how we are so different, even outside the cost, quality, and access issues, having an understanding, Doug, of the cautions that you introduced to me around these embedded plans and how we are so different. They have 800 numbers and what they're really trying to do when they embed that care in those insurance policies. Would you take a minute and explain that to these great folks?
Sure, absolutely. And regardless of what city you're calling in from, if you drive down the main thoroughfare or the freeways in and around those cities, you'll see bulletin boards on the side of those roads advertising various different telemedicine, 24/7, 365. The large or even medium-sized regional medical systems, hospital systems all have telemedicine services. And as Denise just said, 800 numbers, 24/7, 365. All of the large insurance companies, healthcare insurance companies, the largest payers, Aetna, Cigna, United, the Blues, they all have telemedicine services. And then there's a number of independent companies that are out there that have, frankly, partnered with many of the large payers. And so, early on and through to this day, I still get a question like this often. What differentiates us from, so many, if not all of these other plans? Well, that's a complex question, and we can go into it far more than we have time tonight, but I'll just cut to the core, and I think that's what, Denise, you're mainly interested in your question, and that is, consider the motivation of those plans and of those telemedicine providers. Health insurance companies get paid when people incur services, incur claims, engage in the system. So too, hospital systems. It's not in their DNA or their makeup or their business goals and objectives to defer utilization from happening. Quite the contrary. So when I say consider the motivations of these various different plans, I really feel as though most of these other telemedicine plans, if they're with a hospital system, if they're with an insurance company, it really does behoove them to funnel, for lack of a better expression, those callers 24/7, 365 into the system. And they'll tell you they're really trying to be as efficient as they possibly can. Well, what that really means is they're going to funnel the care into the right care setting. But make no mistake, it'll be a care setting that triggers a claim, because that's how the insurance companies get paid. That's how the hospital systems get paid, by having people engage in their system. Our motivation is, quite frankly, just the opposite. We're a virtual plan through and through. We're not affiliated with any large payers, or any payers for that matter. We're not affiliated with any hospital systems other than the partnership that we have with Johns Hopkins, with Partners Medicine, et cetera. But it does not behoove us. It's not in our business model to funnel care into any system. In fact, quite the contrary. We're going to do everything we can to take care of the case that presented itself virtually in a virtual setting. But also, make no mistake, when something does require the need and the attention of a face-to-face visit, we'll be very quick to make sure that coordination and that recommendation is done right on the spot, and we'll even coordinate the care with the provider, be it an emergency room, an urgent care center, or a doctor's office, such that care can be done as efficiently as possible once it gets there. But again, consider the motivation. I think that's our main differentiator between ourselves and so many of the other telemedicine plans that are out there.
Doug, when you say those words, I mean, consider the motivation. I think that was an epiphany for me, and perhaps it is for some of you on the phone this evening, to realize that it is exactly like a physician said to me as I was in Utah last week. He said, "Are you telling me that you can keep people out of my emergency rooms and out of my urgent care clinics?" And I said, typically, anywhere from 75 to 85% of the time, that is exactly what I'm telling you. And you know, that confidence, Doug, when I was able to tell him, could only be led right back to you and what you've put into me. So the GBOs on the phone, friends, business partners, new people, guests, customers, I hope you heard that. Our goal here is to keep you from having to create a claim, which in turn will save you money and also position the service in the right setting, as Doug said so brilliantly. And Doug, I think we could say basically follow the money. I heard you say that. Follow the money on everything. And they typically see us as you walk in that ER or urgent care clinic. I've heard you say this as well. They see us as a business opportunity. Would I be right when I say that, Doug?
Absolutely. When we come through the door, yes, those care providers are there to provide the best service they know how, but keep in mind, we're a paying customer when we walk through that door. And make no mistake, and I'm a capitalist through and through, but you don't get to be 20% of our gross domestic product, the healthcare system, $4 trillion of consumption and spend a year, and not have tremendous opportunities when people present themselves to throw, everything in the kitchen sink at that provider, or at that patient. And that's basically what's been done over all these years. So beware.
Absolutely. You know what? I've got one more question, Doug, but it is approaching 8:53, and I feel like you're going to be on the phone with us a few more times over the next few months, and so I'm going to hold my next question for time sakes. But Doug, on behalf of all of us as global business owners and on behalf of the world, thank you for giving of your time so graciously and so unselfishly. I genuinely appreciate it, and I don't take it lightly. Thank you again. Mr. Doug Robinson, President of Global Rescue Direct.
Thanks very much, Denise.
You bet, Doug. Okay, the next section of the call I really love as well because, being a global business owner here is when it taps you and ties you into people, connecting with people. That's one of the powers of our industry is we take a solution to a person, we hold their hand, and as a brand new customer said to me yesterday, doesn't know me from Adam. She said, "Denise, I just feel safe with you." I said, "Let me tell you something. You are safe with me. Make no mistake." And how can I say that so emphatically? Because of what Doug just described, because of a track record of success, because of the Hopkins and the Partners Healthcare and the affiliations we have with these very, very strong medical professionals. So now I want to bring it to you all and introduce a couple of stories that we're going to share this evening. We are going to start off in the beautiful state of Florida, in Jacksonville, Florida, where one of our very strong leaders within Global Rescue, Mr. Hayes Llewellyn, has elected and offered to share his own son's testimony with us this evening. Now, let me tell you for just a second, Hayes, like I said, hails from Jacksonville, Florida, and he himself has a 20-year corporate sales career with 15 of those being in medical device sales. So I bet Hayes could tell us a little bit about healthcare if we really ask him to. But he's been so kind to offer his son's testimony. And so, Hayes, are you on the phone this evening? We'd love to hear from you.
I am, Denise. Can you hear me?
I can hear you fantastic, Hayes, and thanks a million for taking the time. Take it away, my friend.
Sure, and thank you very much, Denise. Well, I'm just going to take a minute here to share with you. I've actually used the service a few times, but most recently I used it for my son, who is 15 years old, and about a year ago, I guess maybe a little bit longer than that, he started going through the acne phase. And acne is something, obviously, it's not life-threatening, but not to adults, but to the kids. It's a big deal, and it increased over the year, and it's one of those things where you really have to make time. You have to see your PCP, and then a lot of times get a referral, sometimes not, but see them, set up the appointment, drive down there. Hopefully everybody can make it and go through that whole process. We were sitting at home a couple of weeks ago, and I said, let's just press the button for Hayes and see if they can handle the dermatology aspect of it. And with our 18 specialties, we got the doctor on the line. I was, at the time, helping my son with his homework. My wife was busy doing some of her own work, and my son was walking around our living room, went back in his room to talk to the doctor, got the consultation, came back out. He said, I'm good to go. We had tried a couple of things through the mail of various products or one other product, and we really weren't having the results that we wanted. And in about 15 minutes, he came back out and said, okay, and I spoke to the person at the other end of the line, and there was a prescription right down the street at a CVS where I went and picked it up, and we're now a couple of months into it, and for him, it's been a life-changing deal, and it was so easy to do, and I don't even think because of the process that we went into the specialty, I think the PCP was able to prescribe I think that Global Rescue Direct was able to prescribe what we needed, and knocked it out in about 15 minutes. So it's real. Pushing the button works. I've seen it a few times. That's just another layer to the whole process, and thanks for letting me share.
Hayes, thank you for sharing. That is fantastic. And, just to have it right there at the tap of an app and you're watching your son walk around, that reminds me of another friend of mine that said the same thing. Her son never left his video game. He sat right there and was assessed, right there in his chair playing a video game. So that is really profound. Thank you a million, Hayes. I appreciate your time, effort, and energy this evening and trying to make a difference in other people's lives. Now I'm going to take a few minutes and hop to Forney, Texas, where we're going to hear from a beautiful GBO. Her heart is as good as big as Dallas, and Linda Hanks has served as the operations manager to a major Dallas law firm for several years. Linda left that position this past summer, and now she's a very busy mom and a full-time self-employed accountant, as well as being a Global Rescue Direct GBO as well. It was really interesting because we happened to be with Linda the evening following this occurrence, and I'm not going to steal her thunder because I want Linda to take it away. Her experience with using the service out of town, not having a clue where she was really, really rather profound. So Linda Hanks from Forney, Texas, take it away.
Thank you, Denise. Hi, this is Linda Hanks. We were back in September. We were on our way to Las Vegas. And I had come down with a sinus infection. And before we left, I tapped the app to see if they could assess me. Well, I told them, they said, when's your flight? And I said, well, we're about to leave. And they're like, well, when do you land? We no longer landed. 10 minutes later, they were calling me to assess me. We're in Las Vegas, don't know where we're going. My husband's renting a car. I'm on the phone with Global Global Rescue, sorry. And they're assessing me, looking at me, asking me all these questions within, I think it's about 20 minutes, getting all my medical background. And then we get in the rental car, and they hook me up with a doctor. The doctor and I are looking at each other with our phones. She's looking up my nose, making me press my face with sinuses. And this is all while we're driving down Las Vegas Boulevard. My husband's driving, wanting to watch what's going on. But within that, I'd say probably about 45 minutes total, she assessed me. She had asked me, well, where's the nearest pharmacy? I'm like, I really don't know. I don't know where I'm at. And I gave them my hotel. The EMT that assessed me found a pharmacy 4 miles from the hotel, called in my prescription. We dropped off our bags, picked up my prescription, got back to the hotel, took my prescription, and was at my meeting that night. When you don't know where you're at, that is amazing to have somebody help you. And not only that, but they followed up with me 3 more times, 3 more days in a row to make sure I was okay. Thank you, Denise.
No, Linda, thank you. You know what? I remember that night as if it were yesterday because there was some question whether or not her health was going to hold up even for her to join a business meeting that she had traveled all the way to Vegas to be available. And having her prescription, getting her body, toward healing, she was able to make her entire weekend and never miss a step. And, having had an experience very similar to that with my daughter, out of state, just being able to be in another state and get the care and the prescription from a doctor that could do that was profound because typically they're not able to prescribe outside of the state in which they work. So virtual health care to a whole new level. Thank you so much, Linda, for sharing. I really do appreciate it. We've gone a couple of minutes over this evening, but I would be remiss if I didn't advise those of you that are brand new on the phone this evening. Your story is simply one decision away, okay? Our stories are very exciting because they're very real, and it just shows you how back in times we seem when we waste a lot of time accessing health care through the old traditional methodologies. Make no mistake, cell phone and iPhone and various technology is advancing our care in ways we're only just beginning to realize, and we are all first. Okay, I hope tonight we've opened your eyes to a very world-class service called Total Care with very specific motives. And those motives are to minimize your health care, your use of your health care insurance to hopefully drive down and contribute to driving down the cost and improve the quality and the access. Whether you are an individual, whether you're a family, or maybe you're a small business owner and you're looking for health care solutions, talking with your Global Rescue Direct GBO, they can possibly save you hundreds of dollars or even thousands a year. I know that firsthand. I am doing that as we speak. We have taken a physician in the Dallas-Fort Worth area from well over $100,000 a year for his employees to less than $43,000 a year. That is what I'm talking about, improving costs and increasing the quality and the access. In closing, we're also looking for entrepreneurs, people like you and I, to join our hands and help us take this solution to a waiting world. Our vision is very straightforward. We believe it is a fundamental right of every person in every zip code to have immediate access to concierge quality health care at a cost that every person and every business can afford to pay, period. You have absolutely nothing to lose this evening. After we finish this call, pick up that phone and call the GBO that cared enough to invite you on this phone. Discuss your needs or maybe your wants with that person, and they'll show you the membership options. They will answer your questions, and they're going to help you get started with the plan that is going to work best for you. So I hope as Christmas approaches us and 2017 approaches us, don't have any fear. Hit this thing head on. Lock arms with us places you've never been. Make a decision. The numbers flat out right don't lie. And for those of you that are global business owners, we're going to do another Wednesday webinar this Wednesday night, December the 14th at 7 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. Stay tuned. We'll get the information, and whether you're new or you've been around, Join us and tap into us because we have a solution. We just have to get it to the world. And from Dallas, Texas, we hope we've added value to your life. Thank you, and good night.
Okay, guys, go potty.